Let's go. I got big dreams, I'ma do big things. Yeah, you see me on the big screen looking so clean. I don't move slow, I move fast right past anybody taking life for granted, yeah that's too bad. I'd be grateful for everything that I have. You only got this life, you don't get it back. Make the most of it, become the best that I can. Everybody look at me, I got a plan. You gotta work hard, play hard, do it from the start. Cause how you do anything is everything it's art. Stay consistent and do it every day. Don't let fatigue get in your way. Cause 10% of something is better than nothing. You better do something if you wanna be something. I can feel my stomach rumbling, I'm hungry. Big things coming, I ain't bluffing, yeah. No, I don't wanna stay the same, yeah. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. So I fight every day and train, yeah. It'll all be worth it. One day it'll all be worth it. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. I've had enough, I'm making my own luck. Adrenaline, my drug, I'm sick of feeling stuck. I got this, will not quit to the top, I promise. Cause I've had enough. Better watch out, I'm on the climb to the crown. In my prime right now, hear me loud, I've been spitting for a while now. All by myself, independent DIY now. Don't need no help, I've been beating out labels and money and budgets, it's funny. I do all the work, yeah, keep it 100. I fight for my dreams, I would die for these things. I believe in myself, I refuse to be weak, I like to build things. Empires out of buildings, I wanna leave a legacy of helping others finally feel things. Of motivating and killing, depression, exhaustion, we need some healing. I work through the pain, I like seeing gains. I keep my head down, buried, walk through the flames. Yeah, I do this every day, even when I feel drained. A true man pushes through, you don't hear complaints. No, I don't wanna stay the same, yeah. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. So I fight every day and train, yeah. It'll all be worth it. One day it'll all be worth it. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. I've had enough, I'm making my own luck. Adrenaline, my drug, I'm sick of feeling stuck. I got this, will not quit to the top, I promise. Cause I've had enough.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the NFL Sunday Morning Show right here on the Hardcore Sports Network. I'm here with my guys, Mr. Steve and James from Steelers by the Lake podcast. How are you guys doing, man? How you guys doing?
Great. It's a beautiful morning. I need, get some fresh air to wake me up.
Feel you, man. Feel you.
Doing real good here as well, guys. Nice to join you in the morning here.
Of course. Hey, you got a Blue Yeti? I got one in there too. I use that from time to time. Very good microphone. Very good.
Love it.
Love it. What is up, West Coast? Change the intro music. Dude, that is Netflix. If you want any copyright-free music, go to Netflix on YouTube. Everything is copyright-free. Everything. So, I use that for mostly our intros.
I understand, but...
Speaking of that, Nikki,
I would pick something better, but it is what it is.
Hey, if you want something for your intro, Nikki, just let me know, and I'll hook you one up because I'm due to make you a new one. What is up, Greg and John? So what is up? So, since week 1 already ended, let's start by talking about the winners of last week, or winners of week 1. So you get to pick any player, any team. If you pick teams, pick 3. If you pick players, pick 3. So we're gonna start off with Nikki here. Who are the winners of week 1?
Week 1, I'll start with the San Francisco 49ers. Without
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey, who now we know he's going to be out till around at least October, they were able to bring in undrafted Bo Mason, or is it?
Yep.
Right, undrafted running back. He ran the ball like he was Christian McCaffrey. It's like he basically swapped personas for that. And I got to give the 49ers credit. Their offense didn't miss a beat. Against the Jets defense, to their credit, was able to hold them to a lot of field goals. So they did their best they could, but the 49ers kept moving the ball and they kept doing their thing. And it's kind of similar to what Buck and Aikman alluded to that Mike Shanahan used to do with all those running backs like Terrell Davis, Clinton Portis, Tatum Bell, it was like Reuben Drones. They used to at least have a solid run game, no matter who the back was. Now Kyle's doing the same thing with the 49ers. I got to give them props on that one right there. Another one for winners are the Houston Texans. They showed up and proved that last year was not a fluke. They went against a Colts team who was still a solid team despite missing the playoffs last year. They did win 9 games without their starting quarterback most of the season. And Anthony Richardson, he had flashes last week, but to be fair, he missed most of his season, so he was a little bit rusty. And the Texans they outbeat him. Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs lived up to the hype. So it looks like the Texans at least have a shot maybe of getting possibly the number 2 seed, or maybe, I don't know about home field, but that we'll see as the season goes along with that one. But yeah, they're a winner. And the Detroit Lions, man, they proved they're for real. Last year wasn't a fluke. They played the Rams good, just like they did in the playoffs last year. And now this week they got a rematch from the divisional round against the Bucks. Ironic, wild card divisional rematch back to back to start the season. But the Lions, man, their offense looked in sync. Jared Goff looked good. They proved they're at least a threat in the NFC. I don't know if they're going to actually make it to the Super Bowl, but they could make another deep playoff run as long as everyone stays healthy and they do their thing. Those are my 3 winners.
All right, James, how about yourself, man? Who are your 3?
All right, so my first one would come as a surprise to anyone that knows me well, kind of. I have a strange loyalty to this guy. It's Baker Mayfield, big winner week 1. He shows up, not only his old franchise in the Cleveland Browns, but kind of shows him what a tragic mistake it was moving on from him, continuing to play well with a big win for Tampa Bay week 1. Kind of going off of that, as we're kind of used to, another hot start for the Dallas Cowboys. Seems like year after year, the Dallas Cowboys start off and they're on fire early in the year. Not uncommon for Dak to throw 400, 500 yards early on in the season, really light it up, and then they oftentimes cool off mid-season. But there they are again with 33 points against what's supposed to be one of the top-tier defenses in the Cleveland Browns, kind of making them not look as tough as they're supposed to be. So that would be winner number 2 for me. And then, not that I like saying this one either, but the Patriots. Everybody had them losing to the Bengals to pull off that upset win in week 1 with what appears to be a far inferior roster. Cincinnati looks like they're in real hurts right now, with the possibility of T. Higgins not even wanting to sign long-term now.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for me, I'm surprised Nikki didn't even pick this. Our Eagles, man. I'm surprised that Nikki didn't pick that. Even though we won the first game in Brazil, it looked ugly. The field was god-awful.
I was thinking about it, but I also thought about giving the Texans a shout-out, too.
Yep.
I figured, hey, you're here, so you could at least mention it. trying to help us mix it up a little bit.
Of course,
We all have
man. Of
something
course.
different to say.
Yeah. And my second one, I have to agree with Nikki here. It's the 49ers. Without Christian McCaffrey, that is a really big one. Now McCaffrey's going to be out for like 6 weeks.
Ooh.
So we'll see how long that they can keep that afloat. And the next one here, I'm going to try to go to a little different route. Yep. I was thinking You know what? Just for fun of it, I'm gonna go with Minnesota Vikings. Thank you for beating the Giants 28-6. Really, really, really appreciate that, and thank you Giants for Saquon Barkley. So that's all I gotta say about that. Thank you Minnesota, and thank you Giants. So
Let's
who
see
would
what they
lose?
do this week.
All right. Now, James, I'm going to start with you. Who were the losers of last week? Same thing, 3 or 3.
Big losers. No surprise for a lot of people here. Again, the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson looking like an utter failure out there in the decision to move on from him. And somehow this offensive line for the Browns went from being one of the elite units to a unit that's really struggling. Having a difficult time protecting the quarterback. Can't seem to keep anybody healthy on that offensive line unit. There have always been elite at running the ball, but now they're having one heck of a time protecting the quarterback, which doesn't make it any easier for Deshaun Watson when he's already struggling. So that would be one big loser. Second one for me is going to be Will Levis.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much uglier than throwing a game-losing interception in the final moments of a game when it's tied up. So he's got to get that under control. Otherwise, he's going to be a quick hook there in Tennessee. Final loser for me. Man, am I allowed to go with one that already happened this week?
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tua.
Yeah.
Tua and his family. Hopefully this guy's okay, man. But boy, is that scary seeing another concussion for a guy who's got a history of them now, and a severe one from what it looked like as well. So hopefully Tua's okay, but it might be smartest for him just to hang him up and retire while he still has a healthy brain.
Right. We're going to deep dive into that a little later on. So, Nikki, how about you?
For my losers, I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I'll keep it short. He went from being one of the top quarterbacks in the league, a potential Super Bowl contending team with the Texans, to a less than 10.0 QBR in week 1 of the 2024 season with a massive contract. That's the complete abomination performance-wise last week. And then I'll go Bryce Young with the Panthers. Now, in part, to be fair, they don't have much to work with, but that whole team just looks awful. And Bryce Young, that's looking like the biggest mistake. Now we see why Frank Reich really wanted CJ Stroud and why some people are leaning toward him over Bryce Young. It's evident why. It's the second loser. And the third biggest loser for me in this one, I'm kind of toying between. I'll have to go with Daniel Jones. He laid a massive egg in that game just massive egg for the Giants in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Blake Bortles contract all over again, but worse.
Yeah.
He's actually still on the team and he's still getting guaranteed money to just be a bust. It's going to be a complete bust and an abomination.
Yeah. All right. So for me, this is going to be a repeating one every single week.
Pleasure laughing at the Giants for picking him now.
That's my loser for every single week. It's the New York Giants. I don't care if they win. I don't care if they lose.
Right.
They're just losers. Thank you for Saquon. That's all I got to say every single week.
Hold on a second.
It never gets old. You're good, dude. You're good. And I feel like we're all going to go the same route here. So I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson. I mean, for obvious reasons. And then I want to go Raiders, but I like changing it up a bit. So let me I'm gonna go Tennessee. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans on this one. They were up by like a good amount, and then they still lost to the Chicago Bears. So for me, I'm going with Tennessee. And thank you for AJ Brown a couple years ago. Hey Wesley, thank you for that. What was that?
Absolute thievery that was getting that trade.
I'm like, each time I'm going to talk about a team, I'm just going to say thank you for a certain player. That's like, thank you.
I was
I-
happy to see that, to be honest, because he was beating the crap out of Pittsburgh when he played him. So now that he's in the
Right.
NFC, hopefully we won't have to see him as often.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Now, James, you did bring this up.
All
So
right.
now we're gonna talk about Tua. If you already said everything, we could like move on and let Nikki speak. But if you want to add a little more, go for it.
Just feel bad for the guy. It didn't even look like that severe of a hit. And earlier on in his career, it seems like it was just mishandled so badly by not only his own coaching staff and medical staff, but on-site NFL analysts, not analysts, but like the concussion guy, right? The guy with the blue hat. He's supposed to see somebody stumbling around on the field and get him off the field. And they didn't do it the one time, and he kept on playing after his concussion. I think the NFL has not protected Tua Tagovailoa anywhere near enough. And honestly, why in the world is this guy not wearing a Guardian cap? Like, this is the one dude that should probably have 3 Guardian caps on top of his normal helmet. And he's out there man, he might as well not even have a helmet with his history with concussions right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for him. The dude's got all the talent in the world. He could have really had an awesome career. And the more this happens to him, you got to think the smart move is just to hang it up.
Yeah, Nikki.
At this point, if you got that big contract, you can get the money. And I know, it seems too early for him to retire, and emotionally, I'm kind of trying to look at it from the player standpoint. It's like, oh man, I don't want to walk away, but at the same time, if you had a family, or you have any desires to have a family, you got to think about the long term and be like, okay, I can retire and still be involved in football in some way, either as a coach, an analyst, at some level, whether it be high school, college, professional, retire and still be able to live a stable life. Because he's at that point now where he's at that Troy Aikman, Steve Young category. Remember those back-to-back seasons, Young had to retire, then Aikman the following season. That's what started the whole big thing with concussions. And if you get a certain amount of concussions, you got to walk away. And he's reached that point early in his career. It's like the more you keep playing, you're going to suffer serious brain damage. You could end up suffering dementia or Alzheimer's at an early age if he keeps playing, or be mentally disabled at an early age. I do think Tua, sadly, might be time for him to walk away from playing the game and be involved in football in a different way, either as a coach, an analyst, or something.
Yeah.
Because
So for me, 2 ways, 2 different ways. One, do you think the NFL should force him to retire? Be like, okay, you had 3 concussions last year. You just got another one. Maybe we have to pull a plug. Maybe we got to pull it. But then if you look back in the day, every single player pretty much played with concussions now. Like now it's becoming more serious with CTE and all that stuff. And then now it comes into the competitiveness for Tua Tagovailoa. If he still has that competitiveness and wants to be one of the greats, win a lot of Super Bowls, which I don't see happening, do I see him, just being one of the best quarterbacks out there if he keeps on climbing up or whatever? It's pretty tough. If you're a competitive guy and played in a lot of sports, I'm pretty sure all of us played in sports when we were younger, like baseball, football, Little League, whatever. We didn't want to stop. We wanted to keep playing because it was having fun. And Tua's getting paid a lot of money. Now, I know that if he stops right now, he's set for life. Tua is set for life. He can go to the ESPN broadcasting route, kind of like what Jason Kelce did with Monday Night Football when he retired, Tom Brady with Fox. He can go those routes, but I honestly feel like he's going to keep on playing because his competitive nature. You just can't stop that. You can't. Do I want him to not get injured again? Of course. But I just want him to make the right decision. No matter if it's today, tomorrow, next week, next month, end of the season. I just want him to make the right decision. That's how I look at it. Because competitive nature, health, 2 different ways.
I think people are going to have to step in. I think the NFL and the ownership of the Miami Dolphins are going to have to step in. And if you even consider letting him get back on the field, it's got to be with a guardian cap on, in my opinion. If anything can keep this guy from continuing to have more concussions, that's it. Having that big eggshell on top of your normal helmet gives you a fighting chance. There's a couple guys in the league already doing it. The Steelers have an offensive lineman, James Daniels, wearing the guardian cap. I think there's a guy on Tampa Bay maybe that's wearing it. There's a few guys in the league that are wearing it. You can't let it be a vanity thing. This is your health. This is your long-term life with your family, your kids. Like, you could sacrifice all that just to not have a kind of goofy-looking cap on top of your helmet. Who cares, man? Wear it. Wear it, and you might be able to play another 10 years.
Exactly. It's a very, very tough decision for Tua.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough. So, Nikki, do you see him being competitive, or do you actually see him making the right decision? Because for me, I see him being more competitive.
Oh, I think Tua wants to be competitive, but I hate to say he might, but it's hard to say because I don't really know where he's at. I mean, right now, he's in no shape to make decisions at this moment.
Yeah.
As we speak, but it's hard to say because I don't really know where his mindset is that much. I just know mainly on the field for his play.
Yeah.
So that's one for me to
actually, we just got something from Ian Rappaport right now. Tua has, quote-unquote, no plans to retire. Is seeing a concussion specialist. So that's good. It's taking the right route, but like I said before, it's just now his competitiveness over everything.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. So that's the way Tua sees it. A lot of people may not be happy about that, but what is that, Vic? Tua needs to retire. Too many concussions. It comes down to him and his family.
Yeah.
Comes down to him and his family. We just gotta wait and see. No plans to retire right now. How old is he? He's gotta be like what? 20?
28, I think.
Yeah.
Here, I'll look it up. He is 26.
Oh.
Oh my God, he's 26 and he had this many concussions already?
Oh gosh, no.
Wow.
Come on,
He's
man.
26 and
Please
I
walk
think
away.
yeah, he's not gonna walk away, dude. Think of how a player would feel if they were the defining factor in Tua's demise. Would there be a thing like a hold harmless agreement? Could sign that anyone? Yeah, look at DeMar Hamlin. Look at what DeMar Hamlin is going through right now. I mean, concussion. He had all this stuff going on. So, yeah.
That was
What
an
is up, Bo?
entirely different situation, with all due respect.
Yeah. Hey, what is up, Bo? How's it going?
How's it going, guys? Sorry,
Good, good.
sorry I'm a little late here, having some connection issues, so I might just randomly disappear.
You're good, dude. You're good. We're just talking about Tua. How do you feel about the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a tough deal. He's got some very real life decisions to make.
Yeah.
Because I mean, ultimately, does he want to play? Sure, it's his career, obviously. But some of that is he's got 125 mil guaranteed if he's, deemed that he has to retire. And that probably takes some of the fight out of you, right? As far as trying to come back, because that's that generational wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, it just broke that Ian Rappaport just tweeted that he has no plans to retire. Tua.
Well, I would imagine
and he's 26 years. Yeah, he's 26 years old too.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. That is
no,
crazy.
and that's the thing is he, he probably doesn't want to retire. That will be a scenario where the doctors have to protect him from himself if they've deemed that it's to that point, right?
Yeah.
As a competitor, you're not going to want to retire.
No. Like I said before, it comes down to concussion or a health protocol one way and future the other way. And it comes down to him, his family at most. Could the NFL step in? Yes, the NFL can definitely step in. Should they? I agree with James here, part of the Steelers by the Lake podcast. If you guys haven't subscribed to them yet, the link is in the chat. I think it comes the team should step in. The team should be like, okay, you should wear this. You should do these kind of precautions. So I agree with James right there on the team route, general manager route.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to leave that to the doctors, though. Like, the team's not going to do anything. Now, I could definitely see the NFL saying, hey, you have a history of this, and we're allowing the Guardian caps. Why don't you go ahead and do that? In this particular hit, it wouldn't have mattered. One of the things, if you're watching the film, is he drops his head. And if you've ever played the sport, the first thing they tell you to do, head up, eyes up, all the time, right? Because dropping your head gets you hurt. And as soon as that hit happened, I was like, the best case scenario is he has a stinger. It's happening, Chad, which still would have ended his day, right? If he had a stinger, he would have been relatively ineffective. Not that he was having a good night anyway, but even a stinger would have ended his day. Then, it comes through that it's concussion. But when players drop their heads, that's how guys get paralyzed. Like, that's how you get very real injuries. And so when you saw him, drop his head and lunge in, the odds of success is so low. I mean, that is fundamental football they tell you not to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the question is, who's the next one? Because we all know this is not going to be the only one. I just hate seeing this time and time again, but it's the nature of the game, man. It's the nature of the game.
The worst part is he didn't even need to do it. He had already picked up the first down. He could have slid. Exactly.
I wonder why he didn't. He never, I've never seen him slide. I don't think I've ever seen Tua Tagovailoa slide. I don't watch every Miami Dolphins game, but I'm just saying each time I watch him, he doesn't slide.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, you have to slide as a quarterback. All the great quarterbacks know how to slide.
Yes.
And that's why sometimes they work with baseball people, either high school and college, to learn how to slide, to get them ready for the professional level.
So, funny enough, here in Seattle, when Hasselbeck was here, they actually brought a slip and slide out to teach him how to slide.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very real thing. They brought one out to practice to teach him how to slide. That's
funny. Yeah, I couldn't agree with Bo more on this head first thing. It gets too many guys in trouble. In a lot of it is habits that they bring into the NFL, right? They don't have that start new in the NFL, but it robbed what could have been one of the best middle linebackers in Steelers history of his entire career, and Ryan Shazier. He dropped his helmet. He jammed his neck. He was momentarily paralyzed. He still walks with a limp. Man, he was on his way to what could have been a Hall of Fame career very easily. And just like that, done because he kept on lowering his head. And it wasn't the first time he did it in his career. He had done it many times before that. It was a habit of his. Nobody was able to break him of it. And I'm not blaming a coaching staff or anything like that. But guys have got to start learning that if you get in the habit of doing this, nothing good's going to come of it. You will eventually get injured. And it's almost best case scenario if it's a concussion, because paralyzation is a real serious thing here with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sad part and scary too.
Yeah.
It's just going back to in the day, even before my time, they've been playing concussions every single day. Can you imagine that now? I'm just now they wouldn't even allow that.
So since we're talking about leading with helmets, this is how I used to gauge my games, is by how much other people's paint I had on my helmet, right? Because we were taught crown of the helmet into the chest, wrap it up, drive to the ground, right? You knew it was a good hit when you heard the other team go when they hit the ground. That's what you were trying for, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the game's a little different today.
A lot different today, but yeah, it's crazy. Now, think about the parents, right? After seeing this, they're going to have their kids not play football, not even play pee-wee football and stuff like that. So.
I mean, so there's always talk about that, and obviously some of that happens, but kids love playing football. And the ones that love play, like want to play, will play. And the ones that are scared to get hit or have a hit that changes their mind, they play basketball.
Oh,
Wow.
That's how hoopers are born.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I know. I mean, look at
Sorry if I fill your chat over here with hate as this show goes on.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Basketball's my favorite sport. So once I heard that, I was like, damn, that's right. Yeah. So really quick before we go into the next topic here, Bo, who are your winners from week 1? Pick 3.
What do you mean?
Like who did the best last week in week 1? Who
could either
had
be
the best
players
game and
or
could play?
teams.
Players or teams, exactly.
So I liked what I saw out of the Texans, right? I was curious if last year was, not an anomaly or anything. Obviously, they got better this offseason as well. But because CJ Stroud did go on some podcasts and talk about some defenses, I thought, there's some opportunity that guys are going to come in and potentially maybe some dirty hits, like borderline, right? Because if you have a quarterback that's out there talking about how much better they are and, kind of talking down towards the defenses that they're going to see, which I don't know why people put out bulletin board material anyway, but, that's not generally something you want to do, but they came out and balled out. So interesting to see what they do this week against the Bears. That Bears defense is going to be good. I'm going to go, let's see. Who else had a good day? Was not prepared for that question. Let's see.
What I did was I looked at the scores. I was just like, oh, this one looks good.
No,
I picked it.
That's fair.
I picked the Eagles because obviously for me.
Yeah. I mean, I could go with the Eagles a little bit just because of the weirdness of the game, right? You go down to Brazil.
Yeah.
You got all that travel. There's so much speculation about, how dangerous it's going to be and, a lot of distraction around the game. And it was still a good game. So that I liked. Actually, I'll go. I like what we've seen out of the dynamic kick, just across the league as a whole. And the reason for that is we're seeing more returns, and we're seeing special teams coaches actually earn their paycheck because they actually have to scheme stuff up now instead of, every kickoff going out the back of the end zone. So I'll go with a league-wide rule change as one of the things I liked out of week 1.
I like that. I like that a lot because the kickoff return. Did we even see one? I think we saw one, right? Did one get returned to the house?
Yes.
Who was that? I forget.
Yeah, I forget the player that did it. It was a Cardinal, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Yeah, it has to be. It's gonna come to me later. But Bo, who are your 3 losers of the week? Last week.
Well, I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And I'll go with Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
And let's see, the third one would be the Panthers organization as a whole, just catching L's everywhere they can.
Yeah, I like that. Now let's start with James on this one here. When will Jamar Chase get paid?
Woo, great question. Before I get into that, though, you're right. It was absolutely the Cardinals. DJ Dallas took a 96 yards.
Yeah, there we go.
So very good.
Thank you.
When is he going to get paid? Man, he's talking about they're lying to him and he doesn't want to do an extension with them now. Is this just posturing or is he really going to leave town? Man, if he really thinks that they've been lying to him and he can't trust them, then I'm going to go with it's not happening. It'll happen in the offseason by somebody else. or they'll end up in a situation where they have no choice but to trade him. That's not partially, maybe it's me being a little bit hopeful, so I don't have to trade him.
I knew you were going that route.
There's certain guys you just don't want to have to go against all the time, and he's definitely one of them. But yeah, I'm going to say that the Bengals have ruined the relationship enough that he's going to end up signing to somebody else.
Okay, Nikki.
I was gonna, let me put it this way. He will get paid his next contract with a different team, a wide receiver needy team.
Hey, the Eagles could take him.
Could be a good Mitch.
The thing is, I actually like.
Sounds great on
James
that,
Steelers
but
to take him.
realistically, we got a receiver room filled.
I like James Steelers to try and take him if he doesn't actually sign with the Bengals, because they do need some receiver help, especially if for whatever reason Russell Wilson is your guy, because he likes to throw down the field. So he needs guys that can get downfield, because, you know, if you're familiar with Russ, that mid-range stuff is not where he likes to throw the ball. And so if you're a tight end on a team, hope you like to block, because you're not going to get the ball a lot.
Yeah, dump offs and deep bombs. That's his game, man.
That's it. So it was one of the things that was funny about Fields, right? Is, you know, he gets the start this week, right? But last week, people are like, oh, yeah, he played well. Did he, though? I mean, I understand the completion percentage was decent, right? It was like 17 for 24 or something like that, for like 150 something yards. He had 2 passes beyond 15 yards. Like, everybody can complete a pass to an out route and the flat. Let's be honest. You know, it was like last year when he was with the Bears, everybody was like, oh my God, preseason, he was amazing. Goes 3 for 3 for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's like, yeah, he had -4 air yards. Like, let's pump the brakes on he's the best quarterback ever, okay? Like, his receivers made amazing plays, but let's calm down. And, you know, it's funny because I've been watching a lot of posts about that. They're like, oh, Fields was amazing. It's like, are we watching the same game? Like,
I'm with you on that, Bo. I'm with you big time. I'm a realist when it comes to my loyalty to my Steelers. So you're not going to get me just being a fanboy over here. And Fields was dumping it off all game long. Quick outs, dumping it off to the running back. A lot of screenplays, and then like 3 deep ones to George Pickens. And that's where all the yards came from, was the deep balls to George Pickens, because he had like 85 yards and only 150 on the whole day for Fields. And I don't think he had any short ones. So, yeah, it was pretty much all the deep bombs and the dump offs. And if you saw the passing chart from last week, you could have drove a tank through the middle of the field because the ball wasn't getting thrown there.
There wasn't one.
No, no one.
You think you would accidentally cross the middle once. Yeah. No, it was wild. It was wild. And I'm with you. I'm the same way with my Seahawks. Like, I watched our offensive line just be subway turnstiles. Like, they weren't stopping anything. They had 2 safeties and almost gave up a third in the same half. Like, I don't know how many games there's been 2 safeties ever. There was 2 in the same half, and they were a missed tackle away from a third. So I'm with you. I was watching that. I'm like, oh man, like, I thought our offensive line was going to take a step forward. And now I'm starting to see that Pro Football Focus worst in the league offensive line ranking. I'm like, oh man, I mean, maybe they were right.
Right. Yeah. What is up with Deshaun Watson?
Man, how long is this show?
Oh, my God.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about what's up with him, man.
No.
I get us kicked off YouTube.
All right, then, James, you take it because it's in your division.
That's awesome.
Honestly, I think it's almost impossible for anybody who spends that much time away from the game to come back and play at a high level. He was just on the borderline of being an elite quarterback with his time in Houston. That much time off, not being able to practice, not being able to play with your teammates, getting out of a rhythm. And I think for a quarterback, it's even tougher than some other positions because that pocket presence and being able to take that one step left or one step right to make somebody miss when they're coming and not being worried about somebody plowing you from behind when you can't see them coming because your right tackle's getting smoked again. Like, he's just so out of what he used to be that he's not even accurate anymore. And he was pretty dang accurate in Houston. So I don't know if he's ever going to recover from this. To me, it looks like it's probably a no. And I think it was just too much time away from the game, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going to the Eagles and Browns. So please don't turn up against the Eagles when I'm there. That's it. That's it. Let's go to Bo on this one, man. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean, really, just to expand on what James said there is I've never gotten better at doing anything that I stopped doing for years. Like, it just doesn't happen. And I mean, yeah, he was a borderline elite quarterback when he left Houston. Obviously, there's been a lot of years away from the game, a lot of distraction. Last year, when you finally saw him have a good game, he got hurt yet again. Yeah, I mean, will he randomly tear off a good game? Sure. Is he going to be consistent ever again? Near as I can tell, it doesn't look like it.
It's sad, man. It really is sad, but it's kind of funny.
Hey, but he made it to the bank, so
yeah,
good on him.
I got respect for that. Get your money. I got respect on that.
Yep.
Nikki.
I mean, Deshaun Watson, this is an example of ego, karma, and rotten luck all coming together. Now, normally in a situation like this, it would be a situation where a quarterback suffers a serious injury and their luck isn't the same, like a Teddy Bridgewater or an RG3. But in Deshaun Watson's case, it's an entirely different story. First, he held out with the Texans, which at the time I sided with him when it first happened because I understood that whole Bill O'Brien situation. He wanted to change the scenery. But his off-the-field behavior caught up to him, caused him to miss one whole season, nearly miss a second whole season, and then come back. Whereas where he would have all that time, as Bo said, away from practicing football, away from being able to read the blitz, form chemistry with your teammates, bond with them, and all, etc. He put himself in that position where he was away from the game all that time, where he couldn't play, where he couldn't practice because of his own off-the-field behavior. And the truth is, he's lucky he wasn't locked up for it. He's just lucky he can still make money off of it. That's
well,
really what
jury's still out on that.
I'm right, yeah. And apparently, like last week on Monday, something else came forward from the COVID era. I thought it was Groundhog's Day when I heard that. I'm like, here we go again. Don't
well, this one sounds like there's video, though.
Oh no.
Yeah, so this one may end his football career. It also may get the Browns off the hook.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Right,
because almost every contract has a detrimental, to the brand clause in it. So if you do anything that's crazy, they can void
the video that's disturbing to look at. They have every right in their power to terminate his contract if it gets to that point.
Yeah. So from the reports I was reading, the lady that came forward is supposed to meet with the NFL in like a week and a half now. So, and she, I guess, has some video evidence of what went down. And let's be honest, it's the NFL. They don't care until there's video.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Ray Rice thing was probably the most glaring thing. Ray Rice, it was, domestic abuse. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And then the video gets leaked and they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess we should probably not let him play anymore. But yeah, I mean, until there's video. And now, after all the other ones, this one apparently has video. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I understand on this contract, too, that he had the responsibility to disclose anything that had not come out yet. And there was a void clause. So if he didn't disclose that there were other people out there that could still come forward, that there's an option for them to void the contract. So you're absolutely right. They might be able to get out of this contract now.
I mean, like on a couple of fronts, like one, this is the most Browns thing to ever happen, right? Like they just can't get the quarterback situation right. At the same time, can you blame Deshaun Watson for not remembering? I mean, when you've had so many,
That's it, though.
like, I mean, was there another one?
And as they were coming out in the original case, every time he said, nope, there's no more. Nope, there's no more. And then more of them would come forward. And then he said, I won't settle for anything out of court because I didn't do anything wrong. And then he settled out of court, and it was just one lie after another with it. So at a certain point in time, you just got to believe that you're not going to get the truth out of the guy.
He's the NFL version of Tiger Woods.
Oh, but based off the allegations, this is worse than Tiger.
Yeah.
Well, it's worse than
Tiger,
Tiger because he doesn't have any rings.
and Tiger's partners were willing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with it.
Yeah.
That doesn't excuse Tiger because he was married, but just saying this is worse.
You ready for this? What do Tiger Woods, Santa Claus, and God, Deshaun Watson all have in common?
Oh, no.
They all done 3 hoes.
Oh, no.
Man,
Yeah, but Santa Claus knew to stop after 3.
All right. Nikki, that was good. I'll give you that. And here's my guy Vic here. He's a huge Steelers fan. So Vic, please subscribe to Steelers by the Lake podcast. The link is in the chat. If it's Cleveland, they don't know how to deal with quarterbacks.
Couldn't be more true.
How to assess quarterbacks.
And it sounds like he had so many. How can he remember all of them?
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, they finally had one. I think they
told
finally
Mitch
nailed it with
beforehand I have
Baker
to get going
Mayfield.
close to 11, so
Nikki,
let
we'll
you guys
catch you later.
have a great rest of the stream. Hopefully, I'll catch you again next time.
See you, dude.
All right,
Take it
later,
easy.
Mitch.
Nikki. Nikki's
Oh, sorry.
leaving. I'm still here. But James, what were you saying?
I was just saying that it seems like of all these quarterbacks over all the years, they actually hit one on Baker Mayfield, and then the fan base and the media chased him out of town after playing injured his final year there. I mean, he had a broken shoulder on his non-throwing arm and played with it for the last 7 or 8 weeks of the season. And the stories that I heard from Browns fans on it were just absolutely incredibly crazy, man, saying that he had a clause in his contract that gave him the right to override the coaches and play even if he was injured. And I'm like, dude, that doesn't exist in a contract. Where are you getting this from? And who's telling you this? Because there's nothing even remotely close to true about that. But somehow, somewhere in the media, that's being portrayed as to where Baker was the bad guy and it was his fault. He was playing hurt. And my Lord.
he did hurt his career by playing.
Yeah.
Because all he did was put out bad tape.
Yeah.
And I mean, that the NFL being such the what have you done for me lately league, if you put out bad tape, even if you're injured, if that's the last thing they see, it's rough.
Yeah.
Unless you're Deshaun, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So, who's worse, the Giants or the Panthers?
Oh.
Well, we're going to start with you on this one.
Wow. Well, I mean, the Panthers going away, because they have so many issues that aren't even just on the roster. I mean, and all things being equal, they are 53 men from being a good 53-man roster, but they also have coaching issues. They have head coach or ownership issues. There's so much wrong with the Panthers team that they are still years removed from being a good team, right? The Giants, on the other hand, there are pieces there. The problem is Daniel Jones is not Danny Dimes, right? He was his skill set was hidden by a awesome year by Saquon. He gets paid and exposed. And I mean, since last season to today, he has more pick sixes than touchdown throws. So, I mean, that's rough. I mean, I guess they're still touchdowns, right? But
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would be surprised if we don't see Drew Lock get the start by week 5.
Okay. All right. James, who you got?
I agree with Bo on this. The Panthers are just a dumpster fire. There's not much there that you can build with. They made that trade in the offseason to get Deontay Johnson, who at least has one Pro Bowl under his belt. So they got one guy that has some sort of success in his history, but he also had some of the worst drops in the history of mankind while he was with Pittsburgh, too. What kind of Deontay are you going to get? And do you even have a quarterback and throw him the ball? Because it doesn't look like they do right now. So just a complete disaster up there. If you're letting 47 points up in week one, you were not prepared, and you had a gross misevaluation of the talent on your team and what you were going up against. And there's a certain point where there's nothing you can do as a coaching staff either if your talent's that bad.
Right. So for me, I got to go with the Giants. How do you choose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley? Just that in itself. I mean, you chase OBJ out here, and since then, what have they done? What have they done? Archie Manning's looking pretty damn good right now. I feel like that should be their quarterback instead of Daniel Jones. And I'm like, it's just funny how Daniel Jones is getting paid all this money and the GM still has a job. I feel like GM is going to be gone within till the trade deadline. Maybe. I don't know, but that's my pick. Thank you, Giants, for Saquon.
I will say you're definitely not wrong with the Giants when you think of how good they made Darnold look.
Yeah.
like if Darnold is carving you up, you're just like, okay, maybe our defense isn't good.
Right. It's just so funny. The fans, there's these Giants content creators that have the Giants going 11-6 this year. And I'm like, how?
Here, what?
Where? When?
Maybe they meant they're playing on 11-6.
That's what I said. I'm like, are you guys okay over there? Are you guys okay? With Daniel Jones, yes, they're trying to build an offensive line. They got Neighbors who apparently, didn't he get injured? Didn't he get injured or something? No, he's supposed to play. He's supposed to play, but still, it's like, damn. So for me, I'm going with the Giants. Thank you for Saquon. I'm going to keep on saying that. Thank you for Saquon. And I know I talked about this last week, James, but Bo, I want your opinion on this. Who's a better running back when healthy? Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley?
I guess it depends on what it is you're really asking. As a pure running back or value to the team? Because it's wildly different. If you're talking pure running back, yeah, I'll probably take Saquon. If you're taking value to the team, I'll take CMC all day. Yeah.
I'm going Saquon.
Well, of course, because you have Eagles homer action going on. But, I mean, if we're talking true running back, I'll take Derrick Henry.
Yeah, right?
That dude is a mountain of a human.
And way faster than should be legal at that size.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we got West Coast going CMC. And my Butterfly, how's it going? I am not live. We're just live on Bo's channel right now, and we're live on the Hardcore Sports Network. So that is where we are live right now. So, and without further ado, let's go into the predictions for this coming week here. I already got the game wrong on Thursday night. I picked Miami over Buffalo. I don't know how I did, but let me see here. We're going to start with Bo here. Who do you got? Cowboys or the Saints?
I got the Cowboys. That Saints score last week was hilariously misleading. And although I do like the Saints roster, the Cowboys are just the better team overall.
Yeah. James?
I'm with Bo. I think Dallas is the better team right now. Always hot at the beginning of the year for whatever reason.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's all Dallas this week.
Yeah, if this game was in like late December, I would probably pick the other direction. I would probably pick a Pee Wee football team over the Cowboys.
Yes, Butterfly, you were absolutely right. After he got paid last week, Dak better step up big time. Dak better step up big time. So, and I got the Cowboys, as you guys can see here, and oh my God, I can't speak. Buccaneers at Detroit. I'm going Detroit. I think it's pretty much said and done. And I got Jared Goff as my fantasy quarterback because Jordan Love got injured. So I'm like, Jared Goff, now you're my quarterback until like week 7. So, yep. James.
As much as I love seeing the success of Baker Mayfield outside of Cleveland, I think Detroit takes it this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This will be a tighter game than people think, though, because the Bucs defense is actually better than they get credit for. So, and you just never know what Baker's going to be, right? Like Baker is that just all over the board. Like he can come in and play fantastic, or he can throw, 3 picks. Like you never really know. And so that Detroit defense is opportunistic. So if he's off the mark at all, that's where you can get some separation. But Detroit should win this, but I think it'll be closer than it should be.
Yep. We got Alexander with the Lions, Vic with the Buccaneers, Butterfly with the Lions, and West Coast with the Lions as well. So, Bo, right back at you. Colts, Packers.
Oh, Colts all the way. With AR-15 looking, pretty solid, and Love being out, we saw what the backup did, and it was not impressive. So I'll take the Colts here. Even in their loss week 1, the Colts had things you could look at and be excited about. You're like, oh, okay, like this is an actual team.
History first team.
James, yeah.
I'm going Colts as well with what we saw from Malik Willis last week. I'm not a fan of him personally. I was terrified of the prospect of Pittsburgh drafting him back when that draft class came out. Not that Kenny ended up a lot better, but he was at least passable a few games here and there. So I'm going to say Colts for sure on this one.
All right. And I got the Colts. Then right back to me. Jets are the Titans. Give me New York Jets. They're due for a win here. James, who you got?
Jets are a pretty talented roster. They got to put it together at some point in time. And I have no faith in Will Levis either.
Right.
So I'm definitely going Aaron Rodgers over Will Levis. I think that's an easy decision.
Yep.
Bo?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. Like the Jets should easily get this. They're the better defense, the better offense. I would imagine Garrett Wilson doesn't drop 3 balls that hit him in the hands today. So I'm sure the Jets will win on this one.
And then, Bo, right back at you. Niners, Vikings.
Yeah, so the Niners obviously are able to take this one. I like the Vikings. They're a scrappy team. Obviously, Darnold looked decent week 1, and he should look good with this team. He had some good starts when he was with San Fran, and this is probably the most talented roster he's played with, considering he was with the Jets and then the Panthers. So I expect Darnold to have a decent season. I don't expect him to have a decent day.
James.
Yeah, that USC version of Sam Darnold is not coming marching through those doors this Sunday. So I think it's going to be all Niners and in a big way this week.
Yeah, we got Niners, and apparently the 49ers haven't beat the Vikings since 1991. So.
How many times have they played them since 91?
Who knows? Probably like a handful of times. But, yeah. All right. You picked the Niners, right, James?
Yes, sir.
Same with you, Bo, right? Right back at you. Seattle, Patriots.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Seahawks here.
Patriots.
Well, I mean, the Patriots are just a bad team. They have a good defense, so I do like their defense. Their defense worries me a little bit with the Seattle offensive line. They are a less talented offense than what they just faced with the Broncos. So although the defense is better than the Broncos, the offense is worse. And I think this is where they'll be able to take advantage of some bad offensive play. and Seattle should ultimately win in similar fashion to the way they did against the Broncos week 1. So it won't be blowing them out or anything like that, but they should be able to get the win.
Yeah, we got Alexander with the Seattle, and we got West Coast with Seattle. James.
Yep.
I'm going to stay with the trend here. I know it's getting boring. So I'm picking the same teams basically, but I don't have a lot of faith in New England. They just caught Cincinnati last week in a situation where they just were not good, missing starters. So I think Seattle's a better team than what Cincinnati was last week, and they'll get the win because of it.
Yep, and as you guys can see, I got Seattle over the Patriots, and then right back to me. Of course. Of course. Giants at the Commanders. All right, there's nothing left for me to say. Give me the Commanders. Anyone here going to Giants?
No.
No. I mean, this is a battle of the bad. So you're just taking the less bad team.
And Washington has some hope at the quarterback position.
Exactly.
As the way there's none in New York.
Yeah.
I would actually kind of toe the line on this if Drew Lock was getting the start, just because we saw what he was able to do in Seattle when Geno was out, and he did win some games with the Broncos. So, I mean, you at least know he can win games. We haven't seen Daniel Jones win games in a minute, right?
Right.
so yeah, Washington the whole way.
It looks like everybody here got Washington, so
Oh, yeah.
we can just go right to Bo here. Who you got? Chargers. Oh my God.
I mean, I don't feel like we even have to touch on this one.
Yeah.
This is the Harlem Globetrotters versus their team they beat up on. So yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers here. Like this is a no-brainer.
Let's go Chargers. I think Chargers by a million this week.
I got the Chargers. And why did I pick the Browns? No, give me Jacksonville. What the?
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, everyone, I'm going Jacksonville. I don't know what happened, what I was thinking there. I'm going Jacksonville.
So when you started that, your back was feeling tight. You're like, I need a massage. We're going Browns.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was talking to a few women there. So yeah, James, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, you already know I'm with you in the Jaguars this week. My neighbors are a house divided, one Browns fan, one Jaguars. So they know where my loyalty will be this week is with the Jaguars fan.
I'm in the same boat. I'm taking the Jags here.
Yeah, and then Bo, right back at you. Oh my God. What kind of games are these? Anyone picking the Raiders?
And I was taking the Jags there.
Yeah. Who you got?
Oh, I'm at Baltimore. There's no way they're going to forget Derrick Henry's on the roster again this week. 14 total touches for him after driving straight down the field and scoring. And then they're just like, oh, we're bored with running, I guess. So I don't think they do that again. Baltimore cruises.
James?
Yeah, I should be pretty lopsided on this one. The Raiders just aren't that talented right now.
Yep, I'm going Ravens as well. No Minshew mania here. But a little bit of a better game. A little bit, but there's no Puka Nacua. He is out for like 9 weeks or something like that. So I'm going Rams. Cooper Kupp. Yes, I got Cooper Kupp. James, who you got?
I'm going to buck the trend here and go with the Cardinals. They're
Oh, wow.
James Conner went to the same high school as me. So McDowell graduate, went to Pitt. He went to the Steelers. Got loyalty to James Conner. He never did anything wrong to me. So go Cardinals. Let's see a win for James Conner today.
All right. Bo.
Yeah, I got the Rams here. I like what the Cards are doing, and the fact that they were able to cash in on like 14 draft picks this year, but they got some chemistry to work out. So I think they're a team that will kind of come on as the year goes on, whereas the Rams have played together for a couple of years now. So I take the Rams just because they're a more polished product.
And right back at you. Pittsburgh, Denver.
I feel bad, James, but I'm actually taking the Broncos here. Yeah, so I just don't believe in what you guys have under center. And I think Bo Nix is athletic enough to create some situations. And that Broncos defense actually looked pretty good as far as keeping some speed down. And Seattle has more receiving talent than the Steelers team does. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here in a close one. But yeah, Broncos get their first win.
Hey, Adam, how's it going, bro?
Good, guys. Sorry, things come up, but thanks for having me for a few minutes.
Of course, man. Of course. We're going to go to James and myself. Then we're going to have Adam make all the predictions after we're done. So, James.
I'm not going to surprise anybody on this one. I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix. Very athletic dude, but most of his career very erratic in college. So which Bo Nix do you get? And I kind of agree with our Bo here that I have more faith at the center for the Steelers than the guy under center. As Zach Frazier had 6 or 7 pancakes in his rookie debut last week, so looks promising there. But I'm going to say the rest of the roster pulls it out for Pittsburgh, and hopefully Fields doesn't make too many mistakes.
I got the Steelers. I love the defense over there. So, Adam, who you got? And then I'm going to go up from here.
I got the Steelers as well. The defense is going to be too much for Bo Nix.
All right. So let's scroll all the way up. Let me guess who you got here. You got the Cowboys over the Saints here?
Yes. New Orleans, no chance.
All right. Tampa Bay at Detroit.
I think I took Tampa, so I think I'm going to stick with that.
All right. Indianapolis at Green Bay.
I took Indianapolis because Malik Willis, while he is learning the offense, the Colts, this is a game you got to win. Stay in the AFC South, stay in that playoff picture. This is a team you can beat. So I'm going with the Colts.
All right. Jets at Tennessee.
Jets. They get their first win. They got off to Schneid.
Okay. Niners at the Vikings.
I'm going to take the Niners. I think Sam Darnold will come down to earth when he plays real defense. Last week he played the New York Giants, who played more like the New York, I don't know, think of something that's small. The New York Ants, right? So I think you'll see San Francisco beat up on this team. 2-0 San Francisco.
All right. Seattle at the Patriots.
Oh, I think Seattle's going to win here. I think the Patriots will put up a good fight, but I think Seattle has to win here. Again, another team fighting for that wild card / division. I think their defense is pretty good. They held their team the Broncos last week to 16 points. Although that's not saying much because they had Bo Nix. But you have another guy in Jacoby Brissett that you can possibly beat. This is a game I think they're going to need to win.
All right. Hold on 1 second. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Your Giants at the Commanders.
Well, I picked the Commanders early on when the schedule came out because I thought they're going to be in their second. They're going to be at home. They're going to be hyped up. They didn't play badly. They didn't play as poorly as people said. They were missing tackles because they just didn't get there, but they had energy. They fought. And let's be honest, they almost had 26 points if the 2 missed field goals don't go in. So I think, let's not underestimate this Commander team. You don't know what that energy does. And I heard Dan Quinn the other day say, we want the energy. There's a new sense at the DMV down there. So I picked them to win.
All right. Chargers at the Panthers.
Oh, it's going to be Justin Herbert, baby. Let's go with the Chargers.
Browns at the Jags.
I think I picked the Jags, but I'm not sure. But the Browns need to come show up, man. They got to do something. God, they were terrible last week.
Yeah.
Then again, the Cowboys were magnificent. So.
All right. Raiders at the Ravens.
It's going to be good night to lights on Gardner Minshew. The Ravens are coming for blood. Last week's game, energized them. I can't believe that was week 1. I feel like that was 3 weeks ago, that game they played. But do you guys feel? I feel like we're week 2. It's already. I feel like the season's already over for but that's how fast it goes. But I think the Ravens are going to kick their butt today. That's unfortunate because I like the Raiders and what they're trying to do over there. But Ravens are angry, man. Home opener.
Hopefully their toe will stay in bounds.
White shoes, man. Wear white shoes.
Yeah. The Rams at the Cardinals.
I'll go with the Rams. I like what the Cardinals did last week against the Bills, but I think the Rams have to be. The Rams are on a Super Bowl mission. They're not trying to build just for the playoffs. They're trying to win. So the Rams.
All right. Steelers at the Broncos.
I would go with the Steelers. Like I said last time, the defense is going to be too good. I think you're going to see T.J. Watt in the backfield doing dances on Bo Nix.
Yeah. And then Adam, we're just going to stick with you here. Bengals at the Chiefs.
Oh my God, my second favorite team. The Bengals are gonna drop to 0-2 because Mahomes, he's just that guy, dude. You can't go against him. So it's like a blackjack, you know. They say you never bet against black, never bet against Mahomes. Okay, like that guy he's money.
And we got Bo.
Yeah, I got KC here. I mean, the Bengals have routinely started slow, and let's be honest, they don't play defense. So KC should cruise here.
All right, James.
More of the same out of me. I think Trey Hendrickson can't do it all by himself there in Cincinnati. So that will not be enough to slow down this Kansas City offense. I got Chiefs all day.
Remember how we were picking the losers of the week? I'm going to keep on saying the Bills for trading the Chiefs at pick. So, like, why? You just made the Chiefs much more. They got their own Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
I'm going with Kansas City. And then right back to me, the Sunday night game. Bears at the Texans. Why? These are so bad games this week. Give me Texans. James?
Should be an easy one. Caleb Williams didn't look that good week one. So Houston ought to walk all over him.
Uh,
All right. Bo?
Yeah, I mean, the Texans just have too many weapons, right? Like, they didn't need to add Diggs, and then they did. You know, so yeah, I would say that they are able to get this done pretty easy. I do want to see how they do against the Bears defense. That is the one unit that they have that actually is pretty good.
Yep. And Adam?
I'm going to go with the Texans, but I just think it's funny that the Bears get the first pick. They get Caleb Williams and already have a night game second week into their season. So it goes to show you what the NFL loves. They love quarterbacks. CJ Stroud earned this spot to be on primetime, and I'm going to look forward to actually getting to watch him on a big stage. It'll be fun. Texans with the win.
Well, that's because that game is brought to you by Revlon.
God.
Adam, who you got for the Monday night game? Falcons or the Eagles?
I don't want to sing your Eagles Fly song, but it's the road to victory is EAGLES Eagles. Okay, Falcons look like a shell of themselves. Eagles have a home opener now in front of their fans who are already jacked through the roof because Saquon Barkley had 3 touchdowns. Imagine what he's going to do with the link right now. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but the Eagles are going to be 2-0 after this.
All right, Bo.
So, what time is kickoff?
8:20
And
or
who's the
8:15.
quarterback? Cousins?
Cousins and Hurts. Yeah.
Anyone else. I'm literally taking anyone else. So yeah, I'll go with the Eagles here. Cousins looked horrible in week 1 anyway, but a primetime game, he comes up small routinely. And I don't know why that offense didn't do more than it did, but they're not going to be able to hold up to the Eagles.
He's not healthy. That's why, I think.
Well, I'm sure he's not. I think they rushed him back. They should have had Penix out there, really.
Yeah. And James.
As I said last week on the show, I thought the biggest issue for Atlanta was going to be not getting enough protection for Kirk Cousins coming off of a major injury. You just don't move well coming off of an Achilles, right? Especially as an older quarterback who didn't move well to begin with. If Pittsburgh's defensive front was able to make him that uncomfortable, imagine what the Eagles' defensive front is going to do. He's
Exactly.
not going to be able to step into his throws just like last week. He's not going to have time to throw just like last week. And I think Kirk can still be good, but this Eagles defense is way too much for that Atlanta offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm on the West Coast, so all the games are actually reasonable kickoff times for us. Our early games are 10 a.m. We get to have mimosa games. It's the best.
Nice.
That's why they did that. That's why they want to do that NFL Network 9:30 game. So you guys have to wake up at 6 a.m., eat your breakfast. Then you'll have.
That's why I love the London games. It's like I wake up at 4 a.m. anyway. So, it's 6 a.m. There's a game. And then I get to have breakfast at the 10 a.m. game.
That's great.
The last game of the night is done at like 8:30. It's not bad. For East Coast where you're like, oh, it's midnight when the game wraps up.
You're like, oh my God, it's a marathon. Finally over.
And then here comes West Coast going mimosas. Yes. So for me, when it comes to primetime, Cousins hurts in primetime. So I'm going with Jalen Hurts in the Philadelphia Eagles here.
I see what you did there. Clever.
Here's the tip. Whenever you have Jalen Hurts, like Burrow hurts. I'm telling you, it works every time. It works
Such a dad joke, but it works. I'm going to use it next time.
Like Daniel Jones hurts. So there you go.
Yeah, all the time.
Let's see those kicks because I'm positive they're solid white monarchs right now.
Right.
You like that?
Joke even worked back before when Hurts was young, because then it was Wentz Hurts, and he was always.
Oh my God!
Has to leave me to forget.
But that's gonna be bad for the announcer when he goes, Jalen's hurt, right? You're like, oh yeah, and he's really kind of injured. You're like, oh, they're really talking about him being hurt.
They've done that. So they've done that. I'm like, wait, what?
I don't want to wish that upon anybody. I just thought about it in my head, like they got to use another word,
Yeah.
All right, guys. So it looks like we're going to end the show kind of early. Not a lot of people showed up, but it's all good. We'll be back here next week. Make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday for the NFL Pick'ems hosted by Philly Sports Wrap. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Hardcore Sports Network, we got the NFL Pick'ems. We have a different host every week. So that way it's one less monkey off my back. So for that way, make sure you guys tune in Wednesday at 8 o'clock right here on the Hardcore Sports Network. We got a WNBA game today. We got football games on today. We got a lot of stuff on the network today. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to all these guys on their YouTubes, especially. Fun show. Yep, appreciate that, man. It's every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that way we get to talk football, and then the game started a couple hours later. So it's just like, without further ado, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that sub, hit that notification bell. And James, where can the people find you?
We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, you'll find us at Steelers by the Lake.
All right. Bo, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on all the socials at Football Talk with Bo. You can find my YouTube channel at Football-Talk and Roku TV 5 days a week.
All right. And Adam, where can they find you?
Well, I'm on the Hardcore Sports Network on Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays with my man Mac the Giant Fan, the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. We go over everything NFC East for that week: wins, losses, players, and then Premium Takes, where we talk everything from wrestling to hockey to baseball, whatever's going on. We try to fit it in that day. So Premium Takes, 9 o'clock on Fridays. Be there. Love to have you guys join us.
And yes, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Mitch Choxy. You can find me on YouTube with Mitch Choxy, my second channel, MK Meets World, where I get to upload everything else except for sports. So, yeah, you can find me there as well. And we'll catch you all next week. Everyone have a good rest of your football Sunday, and peace. See you guys.